Hey everybody, Stock Picks by Tim here, and I want to get into Cleanspark. You'll see recently we actually ran after hours a nice 3%. So I was cruising through Facebook on Cleanspark, and we've recently had a couple of articles. And I'll leave you a link below to all the articles so you can read them all yourselves. But I'm going to go over what Zach Bradford said on a couple of these here. But first off, here we have the December Bitcoin mining update. Now, I did a previous video and talked about this, but I'll leave this on the screen for you guys to see it really quick. So they're right here at about 2 exahash. So I still expect them to get right there around 3 exahash end of 2022. Now you'll see monthly production at 226 Bitcoin, roughly 1,500 year-to-date production. Total Bitcoin holdings as of the end of the year of 633, and total Bitcoin converted for growth 909. Now, for those of you that don't believe Cleanspark is a microgrid energy play anymore and just sole Bitcoin mining, now they had a post here on January 10 basically saying, come contact us for a free consultation on their battery backup system, okay? National Cut Your Energy Costs Day. So if they were no longer a clean energy play, they would very likely not be posting things like this. And that's why I do believe they're a clean energy play. And like the executive said, there are supply problems. I can definitely see the supply problems, that excuse holding up, as we've seen this across the board. Chip shortages, just, shortages across the board. So for those of you that think CleanSpark moving forwards is solely a Bitcoin mining play, I've got news for you. They're not. Now I'm going to go over these two articles really quick. Of course, links below in the description. And then I'm going to look at the chart on CleanSpark and then my thoughts on Bitcoin. Now, first off, we do have a quote here from Zach Bradford, the CEO, that North America will continue to see a high concentration of miners, and the fact that Foundries USA pool is the largest pool in the world is more than enough evidence to support that this shift will endure. And he also does say, in quotes, El Salvador is, of course, headed to that direction, and now he's talking about mining share increasing in mining share. He also adds that Russia's increasing importance to mining will depend on how the Russian government responds with regulations and tariffs. Now you'll see here the evolution of country share of hash rate essentially, and Bitcoin was controlled by China. You'll see 75% of Bitcoin was mined by China. Now this is no longer the case, and it is very spread out across the board. So I see Bitcoin in a better position now in terms of just hash rate mined by different countries. It isn't controlled, or it isn't exclusively mined by one country. Or it looks like US has the majority here though. But it is good to see it spread out more evenly. Okay, that means, for one, Chinese FUD is no longer. China has less and less of an effect on, on negativity towards Bitcoin. The only negative now is that Chinese people likely don't have access to Bitcoin, unless, of course, they go through other means, offshore accounts. I'm sure there's ways around it, but the majority of people in China are probably just avoiding Bitcoin completely now, so that is one negative. But overall, I think there's a positive thing, and it's good to see more of an even spread of hash rate, of global hash rate. Now, Zach Bradford also says that we believe that we'll see some consolidation this year with larger, more established miners purchasing newer entrants, so more acquisitions of smaller miners that may have access to abundant energy but lack the capital to buy and host mining rigs. So he's saying that moving forward, there's going to be a lot of companies going on an acquisition frenzy and just trying to acquire as many other small miners and just completely continue to blow up their hash rate. Their individual hash rate. Now here's another article by CoinDesk, and this was on Facebook as well. Of course, you'll see the link below. And this is actually about dilution, and Matthew Schultz said this. Matt Schultz, the chairman of CleanSpark here. Now he said that the downside of 100% hodling is that the operating expenses must then be financed through debt or dilution, and they did go over that a bit in the previous earnings call for CleanSpark. And I think this is a good thing for shareholders, that they're going to focus on selling a little bit of their Bitcoin instead of further diluting us shareholders. So I think that is a good thing. And I think it's a good strategy. It does deleverage some risk, because if you're just sitting here with a bunch of Bitcoin on your balance sheet, Bitcoin, happens to get through somewhat of a crypto winter that some people are expecting. Maybe we see Bitcoin in the 30s soon, dare I say even 20s. I find it very unlikely, but definitely possible. Now, something like that will definitely negatively affect a company that decides to just hold all their Bitcoin, and not use any of it in terms of further growth. So that would be potentially a bad thing here. So I believe they're taking some risk off the table by doing this, by taking some Bitcoin and, moving it around, using it towards growth, and not having to dilute its shareholders. I think that's definitely a good thing. And like I said before, guys, there's a very big likelihood we'll see that 750 or so. We did touch it previously, but it quickly bounced. We'll see if we come test it. We are hovering right over that level. Okay, so we'll see where it goes. But with that after hours push, this W formation likely followed through. So we're about probably halfway through on this W. We might see a little bit of a push on Tuesday. Monday, the market will be closed. It's a 3-day weekend. So likely on Tuesday, we might see a little bit more of a push. As for resistance here moving forwards, we're probably looking at about 1050 as a resistance. Okay, our previous support, but we did break it. So it's likely to become our resistance. It's likely to flip from a support and become our resistance. So we'll see how that goes there. As for just pushing downward on Cleanspark once we get a ways up. And that's basically the chart on Cleanspark. Look out for that 750, and if we do break this level, it's very likely that we'll fall further just from a technical standpoint. All right, and let's get into Bitcoin now. Now you'll notice here that the fear and greed index is still in extreme fear, right at about 21. So we're just hovering in the 20s here lately. But lately, actually, Bitcoin does look pretty good. I put this bit of a trend line here. We are bouncing off of it somewhat, and we're coming up towards that 33.5. We're working towards 33.5. And we'll see how it goes. It was a little bit bearish for a while. We broke this here, and it just followed through. Everyone must have made that same pattern out. We broke through, and now we came down, and we tested that 41,000. We came and tested it, came down a little bit more before quickly getting bought up. But you will see we're on a nice little uptrend now. Okay, the RSI is neutral. MACD pointing up. We're getting a little bit of green there. We'll see how Bitcoin goes. Short term, I think it's looking pretty good. We can come and test 43.5, maybe even come and test 44. But definitely keep an eye on Bitcoin and watch it over today and tomorrow as we get closer to Tuesday. See if we kind of have this continued strength in Bitcoin, and that can likely push Cleanspark's price up a little bit, especially in the short term over Monday if we see Bitcoin starting to run. But that's basically it for you guys. Just a quick update on Cleanspark and Bitcoin, and I'll likely be a buyer next week for Cleanspark, especially if we come in that $7 level, because I am long-term on Cleanspark, and from a technical standpoint, if it does break that 750, I'm going to be a continued buyer, okay? If it's long-term, sometimes you can't be too picky about that price, although looking at it from a technical standpoint, if you're short-term on this, you might want to wait, see what it does at that 750 level, see if we get that reversal that we're looking for. But long-term, you know what to do. Just continue to buy and hold and accumulate both Cleanspark and Bitcoin. But thanks so much, guys. As always, make sure you like and subscribe. I put out videos every single day. And until next time, peace.